Yes. A lot. Can you hear me?
I am not seeing you.
All right, I'm gonna try to log out and log back in.
Hot 91.7, your mega hit station. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to your Monday edition of Free Your Mind. So, you know that means it's a motivational Monday. We're going to get you motivated. Third month of the year. We got some things to deal with, all right? Of course, it's all courtesy of none other than BK. They're doing it for you in a major way with those family packs. I'll tell you more about that. Of course, City of Hope, formerly Cancer Treatment Centers of America. And of course, Atlantis, they're doing it big for you this weekend. Jerk Jam with none other than Grammy Award winning Shaggy. Going to be in the building. As well as you can mark it on your calendar. You know, we about being early and proactive, getting those tickets for May the 24th. John Legend is going to be in town as well, all courtesy of Atlantis. So definitely mark that one on your calendar as well. All right. Good to have you all in my company on a motivational Monday. Coach is not with us, but of course, he sends Sean to sit in with us, Mr. Sean Smith. So thank you to him. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say good afternoon to him as well. Good afternoon to you, Sean. Are you with me? Are you there? Are you there? All right, so we're going to check back in with Sean in a second, but it's good to have everybody here. We're going to definitely turn up on a Monday. It's a motivational Monday. We're definitely going to get you motivated. How was the weekend? I got to say, shouts out to everybody who attended Jazz in the Gardens over the weekend. What a wonderful 2 day packed a show of just great showmanship, great music, great artistry, all in one weekend. Yes, indeed. And I got to say, once again, congratulations to our winners. That's just a tip of the iceberg. We got a lot more coming during the course of 2025 for you. All right. So we're going to definitely, you know what to do. Follow us on all social media platforms. All right. We got you covered with so much going on this year. I promise you. All right. Good afternoon to everybody locked and loaded on our Facebook feed. We are Hot 917 FM.com on the World Wide Web. We're Hot 917 and Natural Empress on Facebook. Good to have you guys there as well. And of course, I got to send a big shout out to everybody on the FM band. Simply 91.7 on the FM band. All right, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to get Sean all sorted out so we could roll on this motivational Monday. All right, so keep it locked. This is your mega hit station. We're Hot 91.
Someone on my side? Okay. Let me log off here. I'm on a laptop.
Tell them to come out.
See, I can hear you guys.
Yeah, come out and come out.
Okay.
Yeah, you can hear us. No, that's fine because I have it on thing. Yeah, you have to maybe reset his camera and just go to his setting. And when he comes back in, we'll see what he shows up as.
You gone out and come back in?
Yeah, he's back in. Right?
All right, coming back in now.
When it pops up, then we'll look to see him. Yeah.
Hello, Jessica.
All right, so go to your setting. Go to your settings.
Hot 91. Hot 91.7, your mega hit station. Woohoo! It's a motivational Monday. And of course, I got to say big shouts out to everybody locked and loaded. Like I told you before, we're going to be checking in with Sean. He's sitting in for Coach Ricardo Miller today. And as we're already in the midst of the third month of the year, the first quarter has gone by. And, we're talking about growth. Here it is. We have this is a strategic point in the year to really do some reflection and figure out where you're going from here. You know what I mean? You started out with the New Year's resolutions and you thought you were going to stick to them. And then here comes Lent. Shouts out to everybody who from Ash Wednesday last weekend, you're on the road to doing something, whether it is you're giving up something or you're adding something to your life and sticking to it. But this is an opportune time for folks to really do some self-reflection and figure out at this point of the year, what is it you're about when it comes to your growth, whether it's, financially, whether it's spiritually, emotionally, where are you right now and where do you want to go and how do you plan to get there? We're going to be talking to Sean in just a second. So we want you to definitely keep it locked right there. Shouts out to everybody locked and loaded. Like I said, however you got here, whether it's on the FM band, we are 91.7 on the FM band. And by the way, if you haven't already started to follow us on all social media platforms, then you definitely want to do so right now. All right. In the meantime, I'm Diana Ross. Yes. Do you know where you're going to? It's a question. Let's find out.
You see me and hear me now? Can you see me and hear me now?
Hot 91.7, your mega hit station. Music in from Diana Ross. The theme from Mahogany. The question there simply is, do you know where you're going? And that's what you got to figure out first and foremost before you even, start to step in, putting your left foot in front of the right, or however you do it. You got to figure out where you're going. You got to chart that course. You got to figure out where you are now and where you want to go. And then when you figure out where you want to go, the next thing is to figure out how you're going to get there. All right. So good afternoon to you, Sean. It's good to have you with us sitting in for Coach. How you doing?
I am great. Thank you very much for having me. It's always good to be able to sit in with you and to kind of
Yes.
fellowship with you. So we're
Hallelujah.
ready to go.
I'm ready to go. We've been ready. You know what I mean? Here it is. Can you believe it? We're already in March, the 10th of March. We're marching on, Bahamaland. All right.
How-
And we got to get there. You know what it is to set goals. And, the one, it's beautiful to set the goals. That's half the battle. You figure out, okay, 2025, new year, new me, all that good stuff. Lent came around last Wednesday and kicked off in a major way, and some people falling off where their resolutions are concerned. already, what they plan to give up or what they plan to add. But then it's never too late to pick up where you left off. But I think, like I said, we're now in the first ending of the first quarter. It's still a good time to reflect and figure out, how I can get there. Where I going first and foremost, and how do I plan to get there? By boat, by plane? You plan to swim, backstroke? Like what you doing? What you doing is the question. So, Sean, let's dive in. All right, where that's
Definitely,
concerned.
definitely. Like you said, Empress, we're half of the quarter is gone. We're almost here. We're here really in the United States. They're celebrating spring break. So spring break too is a time where people get your house in order. You go and unlike Bahamians who do all that major cleaning during Christmas.
Right.
Americans, they do a major cleaning during spring. It's time to clean stuff out, get stuff, ready for the upcoming year. And just like you said too, January, you made those
Resolution.
New Year resolution, and so now it's time to kind of see where you are. If you hadn't made resolutions, it's a great time at spring where you're 3 months in to go ahead and stop and kind of make some resolution, try to make some plans to see where you're going. And I got four major questions in terms of our topic today: growth. Uh, Everyone is, if you're not growing, you got to be dead, because everyone is growing. That's a part of life. And reflection is a major part of anyone who is growing. So the first question I would ask is, where am I going? Where am I
That's a
going?
good place to start.
You know, you go back to basic. Where am I going? What do I, if I'm on East Street and East Street South and I'm trying to get to Bay Street, at least I know I got to get to Bay Street and how long it's going to take me, and I can walk there, or I can catch a
It's a
jitney
ride.
or
Mhm.
catch a ride. But
Mhm.
at least I know where I'm going. I got something in my viewpoint that I can look at. That's kind of a measuring stick. It's tangible. You can measure it. Okay, I'm at point A. All those mathematicians,
Mhm.
that's where those equations come in. X equal what? Y equal. And so now you have something tangible. You can plot your way, how to get to that next point, to that next level, which is in terms is growth.
Yes. Yes. And that's half the battle, knowing where you're going. You have an idea of where it is you want to be. But the question is how you're going to get there. And like you said, if you're in East Street South trying to get to Bay Street, you could either trot and take the long walk, you could hitch a ride, take a taxi. I understand we have Uber services now too. However, but the greatest thing is knowing what direction you're heading. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
You're gonna go out east, southwest. What are you doing?
What are
You
you
can't
doing?
just stand up in the middle of the road and wait for some monsoon breeze to blow you. You got to figure out how you're going and where you're going and why you're going too.
And
That's another thing.
yeah,
Why?
and I mean that's the next point. Why?
Right?
Why are
Why?
you
What's
why
the
are you
reason?
doing it? What is your why? We
Yeah.
often say if you know your why, then you can kind of go anywhere. Why am I
Absolutely.
doing this? What am I doing it for? What is the end result?
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. All right. So that's the first question.
Yeah,
That's
and
absolutely the first question.
that's absolutely the first question. And then the second question is why? You know,
Mhm.
what is my why? What is my center of gravity? What am I doing this for? If you're a parent, most of us we live for if you have kids, you live for your kids. I know every day I got to get up and go to work because I got to keep roof over my head for me and my kids, or I got to make sure that I go to work so I can earn this money to pay school fee or
Right.
whatever have you. What is your why? What are you doing it for? You know, what what motivates you to get up every day and go out, and sometimes even when you don't want to smile or even when you don't want to work, you still do it because that's your why, you
Mhm.
know, or part of your why.
Mhm.
What is your purpose?
Absolutely. You got to figure out whether it is you're just doing it for you, like you say, you're doing it for your children. You're trying to set up your legacy, right? And the part of legacy building, you sometimes have to do what you don't feel like doing when it needs to be done.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know what I mean? When you're all about legacy building and not just living for self, there are some things you got to do. Whether you want to do it or not, it has to get done. And one of those things is working.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
working. But
You know, I,
like you said, your why is just as important.
yeah, your why is so important. I remember a conversation I had with one of my sisters, and she had her first child, and I told her, you're not living for yourself no more. As when you're single, you can do so many things. You can go when you want to. You can come when you please. But at a certain point, when you bring other people or another life into that
Into the fold.
equation, you know it changes. It changes your variables. Now variables to change. So,
Mhm.
what is your why? What drives you? I heard someone talk the other day, a friend of mine's, and he was talking about nation building, and it kind of brought my recollection back to our forefathers, what they did, and what was their why, and are we living their why today?
Hmm.
Off their sweat. You
Hmm.
know, but it's so important that we find our why, and then tie that into, all right, when I leave here, uh, am I leaving this place a better place? Am I
Yeah,
leaving my
you
country a
got to
better
make
country?
some kind of mark.
Yeah, yeah. How are they when my name is called, when I'm gone, or is anyone call my name out when I'm gone?
Bum. There you go. If anybody gonna
If,
call your name, are you going to be forgotten?
yeah.
Just like Just like that. Sean, we're going to take a quick break right here. When we come back, we got more to talk about on this Motivational Monday. So keep us locked. You know what it is? It's Free Your Mind on a Motivational Monday right here on your mega hit station. We're Hot 91.
Yeah, so many people now, when you think back, uh if you ain't got a school or a church or something named after you, people don't. Or if you weren't living for people, I mean, living for your generations, people don't. They don't remember you. AJ, that's a good question. That is a good question. Back in the day, AJ, that's how people used to call you. Hey, that's young. That's young Smitty, or that's Mister So and So June's son or daughter. They still do that today.
Hot 91.7, your mega hit station. It's a motivational Monday. Good afternoon to each and everybody. If you're just joining us, if you're joining us, Sean is with me today, sitting in for Coach Ricardo Miller on this motivational Monday. And today we talk growth. We're talking about stagnation and why it is you seem to be stagnated when it comes to your growth. The fact that you possibly haven't taken the time to even evaluate or reevaluate where it is you are before you even try to take another step. Got this one's from Facebook. AJ says, would your kids be proud to say that they were your child after you're gone, or would they be embarrassed? My Lord, that's a question, AJ. I mean, yeah, Sean, like
Yeah,
that's a serious thing. That's a great way to look at it and figure out if you're doing the right thing now.
of course. I mean, I grew up in the era. I'm from Grantstown. I'm from Grantstown Farm Road. So Ricardo, coach always saying he's from Soldier Road. I'm from Town, all right? Martin Street, all right? When
Okay.
when I was growing up, everyone knew, oh, that's young Smitty going there, and of course in that area they used to sell weed, but no, you don't, that can be our next prime minister, that can be our next. They always treated the kids in the neighborhood as y'all can do whatever, what great, y'all are deemed for greatness. And then
Okay. Got to
they
speak
knew
it.
my parents ain't having it.
Right.
They
Right.
if they gotta go tell my dad or my mom I did something, before they were gonna beat me first and then send me home to another beating. And so
Right.
my parents, a lot of times growing up, people be like, come here, who's your daddy? Who's your okay.
Well,
I
that's
know who
exactly what AJ just said. He said
yeah,
old folks always ask, "Who is your people?
who's
Who
your
are they?"
people. Yep.
Yes. Who is them?
A lady met my mom, one of my coworkers, and my mom came to my job and was praying for me. And I was young. I took off because I didn't want to get emotional in front of my coworkers. And the lady, she since passed away, but she called me back to her, a few hours later, and she hugged me and she said, "Now I know who you are." And and
Mhm.
and I was always a good kid, but she saw what my mom was praying, and heard what my mom was praying for, and this is a praying woman, so she was like, I know who you are, so I don't care what you do around here with these fellas, I know who you are. I don't care what you try to show these fellas, because you amongst, working amongst men, you try to, be one of the boys, but I know who you are.
I know
I
you
know
really
who you
are.
are. And you can't hide from that. And so it's important, as adult, we find our why, and then we pour it into our kids. And so we don't have generational curse, because now they know their why from early, and then they can plot their way.
Now, Anya says, I'm sure there are plenty from my generation who can say they're not proud of their parents. Hi, Jason. Good to have you. This one says, we have a culture of people that only live in the moment and they don't think about that. Now, that I saw a comment a little earlier to say pretty much the same thing, that young people don't check for all of this, man. We live in for the moment. We will cross that bridge when we reach there. There's no premeditation about where it is your life is going or how to make it better. You just go
And,
through life.
and that's an excellent point. But I would say to that, it's our fault, it's the adult's fault in your life. And if you keep on doing the same thing expecting a different result, you're insane. And so you
Mhm.
have to, as a young person, you have to want more. And if your parents weren't there, you have to ask yourself, well, why wasn't they there, and why did they make the mistakes they made? You have to go and sit at their feet and have some, like like coach always say, you got to have a conversation.
Yes.
Because going back to that statement I made, that generational curse, we at home in the Bahamas, at home, we're going through that generational curse where I saw my father did it, so I'm gonna do it too. I saw my
Mhm.
grandfather and his father did it, so I'm gonna do it too. No, we have to break that. And this is one of the things, and one of the reasons why Coach and I are on, because we want to try to help people to understand that, you know, you're so much more than you are, and you can be, but you have to see that in yourself, and you have to stop and reflect sometimes, and then kind of get your bearings before you
Well,
can before you go to greatness.
well, that brings us to number three. Like, what in my life is not working for me? Now, that's a question that you would have to be so transparent and totally honest with yourself, right? And that includes your relationships. All right. Some of you are that job. Are you really, happy where you are at that job? Are you really, what is your relationship all that you portray it to be on social media? You know what I mean? The infamous pajama pictures, the pictures from the cruise, the picture from the trip when
Yeah,
y'all dress up and everybody looked the part. But how much did you speak on the trip? How much time did you really fellowship on that trip? You know what I mean? Or did you
yeah,
just you go your way, I go mine? You shop, here's the money. How much time did you sit down at dinner and actually have a conversation? You know what I mean?
yeah,
So with even that question, you've got to question your job. You got to question your relationships, and that includes with not just your significant others, but even with your children. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Jason says, I've heard parents tell their kids to figure it out themselves because they had to figure it out themselves too. Some of these parents are just lost. Like he said, it has to be broken, but on a larger scale. But how to start? That's the question. How to start?
Let me ask another question. How do you
Mm,
how do you eat an elephant?
piece by piece?
One bite at a time.
Yeah.
So the mere fact that you're able to stop and question, it means that you're on the road to get some answers, or you're on the road to something better. But if you just keep on going the way you've been going, or the way your parents or their parents been going, you know, you're doomed to fail. So one bite at a time, one step at a time, and if you go to your parents and they don't have good answers for you, go to your grandparents, go to an
Hmm.
uncle, go to an aunt, someone in your life that is around you, will help you. You just got to keep on asking the right questions.
All right, let's read this one. AJ says many people are incarcerated in their own comfort zone. They're not happy with their job, but they don't know the way forward to take. They're unhappy with the person they with, but they depend on them too much. They're unhappy with the friends they keep, but the guilt of moving on. They need to free themselves, but they expecting someone else to bring the key. But the door was never locked. Hallelujah. My Lord, my Lord. Real
AJ
talk.
always AJ always on point. AJ
Yeah,
all
man.
what's his last name, Empress?
Smith.
Oh, okay,
You know
okay,
what?
okay,
Sit down,
okay.
sit down, sit down. Wait, calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down. But
Let's,
in I mean, it's all seriousness now. We got to touch this last question because, as Coach always says, you know what I mean. You're talking about there's someone always assigned to help you,
yes,
but the only way for that to happen is to be in the right circle. So
yes.
you got to figure out if you're in the right circle, if you're in a square, if you're in a octagon. Like, what are you in? Because if you're in the right circle, that assigned person will never reach you, or you'll never reach that person. If you hanging around with the chickens on the ground, you ain't gonna
You
reach the
never fly.
eagles.
Yeah, you ain't never
You know
fly
what
as
I
an
mean?
eagle.
You ain't gonna never
Yeah,
hang, you ain't gonna fly with the eagles because you staying on the ground, you playing it safe.
yeah.
You ain't trying to fly, you ain't flapping your wings to get nowhere.
Steve Harvey have a good saying. If you wanna achieve something, you got to jump. And when you jump, you have a parachute on, and it's gonna open up, but you need to jump. Even if that parachute don't open up, there's someone there to catch you. Just talking about the lady who pulled me aside, and I'm gonna call her name. She since passed on, Ruth Miller. Uh, uh, and people might know that name. But Ruth was assigned to me. You know, I'll even take it a step further. everywhere that I've gone in my life, I've had people that were assigned to me, godly people who were assigned to me and pulled me aside and say, "Hey, let me show you this or let me show you that. Hey, let me show you how to get to the next level." I had a white guy who pulled me aside and said, "Hey, let me show you how to get to the next level. Let me teach you how to do this." So anywhere you go, there are people there. You just gotta either listen or put on your glasses where you can see, or even sometimes you just gotta get quiet.
That's
If
true.
you get if you get quiet and you block out the noise, you're able to hear, and sometimes you're able to even see clearer because you block out the noise, and now you can understand. You get a bit more understanding.
Hmm.
So if you block out the noise, get quiet. 17 minutes. Think about this. If you spend 17 minutes that where like for spring, you have to get up early every morning to drop the kids to school. But now, spring break is here. You ain't got to drop the kids to school. So that time that you would prepare to get the kids ready and do all of that, you don't have to do no more. Take that minute to just kind of 17 minutes of that to just dream and plot where you want to go. Plot how you can do it. How can you get better in what you're doing? Plot uh, the question: am I in the right circle? How do I get in the right circle? What circle is the right circle for me? And
Hmm.
sometimes you just, like I said, you guys got to stop and be quiet. Because if you're quiet, you're able to hear so
I
much
think
more.
more clearly.
Yeah, yeah, you
AJ
know,
says when a child learning to talk, they all, or I guess to walk rather, they always hold on to walls and areas to keep their balance, but they never begin to learn to walk until they start to do it, to do that. Then they never realized they knew how to walk or where to start until they let go of the surface that was holding them up and what they were holding on to. Yeah, you gotta, it's all about taking chances too. I can
taking
tell you that.
chances.
Taking
Gotta
those
jump.
leaps of faith.
Yep, gotta have those leap of faith, Mike.
Yes.
I was riding. I was being taught how to ride a bicycle, and I was riding, and I thought my cousin was holding on to the bike, and tell my aunt, it's
You
like,
turn
oh,
around and see.
yeah, she's like, "Oh, shorty riding." I
Yeah.
fell down because
Yeah.
I thought that he was holding on to me, but I was doing it by myself. But
Yeah.
until you get to that point where you know, and there are some moments where you're gonna fall, but you can't stay down. You just gotta dust yourself off, and just like a baby, try it again. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it all begins with knowing what it is you need to do and why it is that you're doing it. So,
yes,
we're in the third month of the year, people, the 10th day of March. We're in the first quarter time change on Sunday for us. So, it's time to spring forward. And in
yes,
springing forward, you must sit down and chart your course. You can't just jump. You know what I mean? You can't just spring. You
yeah,
got to chart your course and know exactly what it is you want to do and why it is you're doing it and how you plan to do it. And, like I said, if you didn't follow through with the New Year's resolutions, it's okay. It's
yeah.
never too late to start again. And now spring is an opportune time to do that once again. So we encourage you to do exactly that. All right. Sean, as always, a pleasure. Thank you for another motivational Monday.
Thank you very much for having me. Big shout out to everyone out there at home. We love you. We're missing you. Uh, and send us some warm air. I mean,
Oh,
we're here in
Lord.
Texas being cold, man. It was in the 40s this morning, and it's
My
spring.
Lord, I'm not grudgeful at all. I'm not grudgeful at all. Yes, AJ says, and knowing when to step out of your comfort zone. Yes, indeed. Again, that's a big one because what we say, stick to the evil that you know.
Yeah, yeah. Now,
That's a horrible thing
sometimes
to do.
sometimes you gotta get out there and fall, and see who come and help pick you up.
Yeah,
You
and
know, if,
sometimes
if
like the child that's learning to walk, you gotta hoist yourself up and do it yourself.
Yeah, and like I
Another
said,
thing.
if you fall and someone, if you never fall, no one will ever come and try to help you. But if you fall, someone may come and say, "Oh, that's AJ down there. Come on, AJ, what you doing down there? Let me pick you up.
Yep,
Let me help you up."
absolutely, absolutely. All right, Coach. Thank you so much. As always, my pleasure. And folks, you all know what to do. Keep it locked. Top of the hour, 5 o'clock. Your Monday edition, your Mood Monday Drive at 5 comes your way right here on your mega hit station. We're Hot 91.
Thanks for having me.